In recent years, the decline in critical thinking has been a significant point of discussion, and I figured that I should give my own take as well, especially as someone that has been trained to think analytically about matters instead of jumping at the first bit of information and just completely running with it. I got this idea when I was watching a video by Joe Foley from Unsolicited Advice, and it was titled, "Critical Thinking is Dead, Here's How We Bring It Back." And I've been watching him for quite a while now. I think his videos and what he has to share is quite valuable. It truly gets your cognitive gears running, and so I thought I would like to share my own take on this. Initially, I thought, I should read some articles, read some studies, watch a couple more videos so that I'm better prepared. But then I eventually settled on just sharing my own opinion on this matter. So instead of just reading up on some material and regurgitating those ideas as my own, that would most certainly oppose the whole point of this video. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I created this channel as well, to share my experiences and my takes, especially in this new age of constantly being bombarded by AI slop. I think that it is important to create content that provides value beyond just entertainment and jokes. The concern for cognitive decline or the decline in critical thinking has been a point of discussion for the better part of 20 plus years, or really since the advent of mainstream technology as we know it. I mean, you could go and look up studies from the 2000s talking about this exact thing, and it has only been accelerated significantly in recent years with the advent of AI and highly intelligent algorithms. Now, don't get me wrong, I am a huge proponent of technology and what we can do with it. I am a comp science stats major after all, but the question is, how are we going to continue to use these technologies and how are they being imposed on us? Now, from what I have observed recently, especially since I have got onto X, and this may apply to other platforms as well, is that whenever a news story breaks, people tend to just take this initial idea and just completely run with it. And I've fallen victim to this quite a few times as well, I'll admit that. But as time goes on and new information comes to light, you realize that, this is actually quite multifaceted. And maybe you shift the opinion from there on and maybe you don't. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that media, social media, or technology in general has made the world so small that new information reaches the other side of the world in milliseconds that people do not even truly digest what they just read or saw a few seconds ago. It is always just a continuous scroll or a continuous refresh of the feed and quick comments here and there with little to no thought behind them. And this has become a new comfort where you just turn your brain off and open your app of choice. But what happens when you go into a real life setting? You then just parrot off everything you saw the previous night? Are you even capable of contributing meaningfully to a conversation? Or are we just brain dead, content consuming machines? A number of people have various suggestions as to how you could encourage critical thinking, like read a book or learn something outside of your comfort zone and so on. But I think that it comes down to just two questions: how and why. I think that those two questions allow for a much larger dialogue to emerge and even reach conclusions that you would not have even considered in the first place. And apparently children do not even do this anymore, where they ask you a question and you answer and then they go, okay, but why? And it becomes this endless stream of whys until you eventually end up with, because I said so. Instead, it just becomes, if ChatGPT can do it, then why should I even bother? Now, I want to give an example here of one thing that I enjoy doing is watching movies and TV shows. And after a movie or a particular episode, I often find myself thinking very deeply about what I had just seen. And you may be thinking, oh, it's just a movie, who cares, move on. But I think this is one other easy way to routinely test your critical thinking. Because we consume a lot of media anyway, so why not just make it work to your advantage to some extent, whether it's serious or not? I go from thinking about the casting to the song selection and a soundtrack to the cinematography to thinking about how the plot would have played out if the characters had made different decisions. And you come across this a lot on Reddit, where people give their own theories on movies and shows, or even as video essays on YouTube. And the point I'm trying to make here is that this is just one example of how critical thinking can be utilized. And I'm just trying to show that critical thinking is not just reserved for a classroom or your workplace. It can extend to all other areas. And the more you use it, the sharper you become, the more receptive you are to new information. You essentially become better at considering other perspectives as well. So ideally, I want to encourage you to continue to keep learning, keep thinking, stay curious, even if it is about something as mundane as watching a movie. And if you want to learn more about this, there are tons of other videos on YouTube and tons of articles and studies that have been conducted. And this is essentially just my way of making you aware of this and essentially encourage you to draw your own conclusions, just to encourage you to exercise your own critical thinking. Now, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.